Welcome to Horrorphobia,
Oh my God! He admitted!
a spooky movie review podcast for the horror lovers and the horror phobics alike.
Never saw them titties.
Watch your profanity.
I can't imagine why.
Those fucks.
Destroy the child.
Learn your lesson. We have to have some Halloween spirit.
Show us your balls or get the fuck out!
Without further interruption, let's celebrate and suck some dick.
G'day there, you naughty wankers.
What a twist.
And welcome to Horrorphobia, a spooky movie review podcast for the horror lovers and the horror phobics alike. I'm your host, Jake. Next to me is my wife, Emily.
G'day.
All the way across the internet, we have a friend, Ryan.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, you cunts.
And all the way across the slutty internet, we have our friends, Ian and Jake.
Oh, shrimp on the barbie.
Did fucking ruin the road. You got run over its fucking head.
You undersold your Australian accent, by the way, host Jake.
We are a
That's
group.
amazing.
We are a group of lifelong friends who review horror movies. Why horror movies? Because I love them.
And I hate them.
Oh no.
Oi, oi.
We have a great episode for you today. On this episode, we will be reviewing 2023's Talk to Me.
Yeah.
First, we will begin with our movie synopsis, our spoiler-free review, and then we'll get everyone's score for the film. We review on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being 10 being and Ryan, acting as our resident scaredy cat, will rate the spook factor of the film.
Then we will begin our spoiler-filled walkthrough of the film.
And I will be providing behind-the-scenes info.
And I'll provide critical reception upon recent release.
And if it applies, I'll provide production budget versus box office gross, which will be incomplete because the movie's still in theaters. But then we will get into our own personal likes and dislikes of the film.
Then after the review, that was fun. We're all going to play a game.
You can't win them all.
This week's game is going to be
Two spooks and a die.
Oh,
Hell yeah, dude.
you're supposed to die.
2 spooks and a die. And then after the game, we're going to tell you to fuck off because next week's movie's Chillerama.
Yeah.
No wheel.
No wheel.
No wheel.
All right. So, as I said before, we all went to go see 2023's Talk to Me, and on its opening week. And here's the synopsis. When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. After that, the mother of the 2 children involved learns all too well that bad associations spoil useful habits. She's a drug addict.
Name that scripture.
Here's my review. Talk to Me is definitely a gripping movie and has a masterful use of tension. The film slowly takes you by the hand into a real life ghost story that feels very grounded in our reality. I had 2 puns. I just All right. The characters we follow are empathetic, believable, and well acted. Maybe it's just me, but I believe that we all have felt like a grieving and troubled teen before. The setting of Adelaide, Australia was a very welcoming and fresh place to be in for a horror film. One of my best friends is from there, and now I can feel like I've been there, all for the price of a movie ticket. So I don't have to go visit him. So
No, we don't have to go now. Nice.
Nathan,
Radelaide.
the city of evil, Adelaide, Australia. The The themes this film presents are thought-provoking without drowning you in allegory. It raises questions about how mental health issues like debilitating depression can affect others around you. The film has a runtime of 95 minutes, which seems perfect. All the scenes are well-paced, and the tension built during the talk to me scenes is palpable and shockingly believable. Maybe it's because this movie is right up my spooky alley, or maybe it's recency bias, but this movie has shot up to be possibly the best horror film of the year. That's why I'm giving this film 9.0 sucked feet out of 10.
I knew someone was going to take suck feet, so I came up with a different one.
Yep.
All right, Ryan, what's your review?
All right. Talk to Me was my first horror experience in a theater. My anxiety was in full swing as my buddy and I entered the theater, walked to our seats to find that someone was sitting in them, sat in someone else's seat, had to move, and then proceeded to anxiously kill a large popcorn by myself while sitting next to a stranger that couldn't control his flatulence. Despite these unfortunate circumstances, I learned one thing. Horror movies are meant to be seen in the theater. This film was original and thought-provoking. The concept of paranormal is presented in a fresh, compelling way, and I have to give a hand to the writers for that. There is one specific plot point that's a bit confusing to wrap your head around, but they managed to drip in rules and context without a shameless exposition dump. By the end of the movie, when I was finally catching on to the way it all worked, I was so busy being in the moment that I was genuinely shocked by what, in hindsight, seemed like a pretty obvious conclusion. It's a fantastic movie that dives deep into trauma and the way we can use it as a weapon against ourselves and also others. A24 doesn't seem to be interested in involving themselves with shallow films, and Talk to Me has kept that tradition going, and I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 off-limits vaginas.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
Hey, nice though.
Ryan or Ian, not Ryan. I already talked to you.
Read it again.
Talk to
Ryan.
Me was
Talk-
my first
Talk to Me.
horror experience
Stop.
in the theater.
Ian,
This movie was dope. It was directed, filmed, and edited really well. And for like a feature length debut for these guys, like I'll definitely be looking forward to their future work. The effects are great, and it had this very effective and piercing audio throughout the movie too. There wasn't really a character I didn't like. It was funny and unsettling. And this kind of movie pretty much rekindles my love for going to the theaters. I'll usually forget a scene in a movie after like watching it after like an hour, and this movie had like scenes I'll always like remember, like they're ingrained in my mind. Similar to like Hereditary. So I may have some bias because I have such a love for like psychological, like supernatural horror, but I definitely would recommend it. So
Oh, yeah.
I am giving this 9.4 bad drug trips.
nice.
Hell yeah, dude.
Emily.
I'm glad that the trailer didn't give away too much. It definitely was misleading. Not as misleading as something like Hereditary, but it's set me up for a better movie than I thought it was going to be. I love the original twist on the Ouija board, and there were just a couple of choices at the end of the movie that were a little off-putting to me, but overall I loved it. I thought it was a beautiful movie. And I give it 8 out of 8, 8.8 out of 10.
8 out of 8.
8 out of 8. That's my new scale.
Perfect.
8.8 out of 10 toes.
Toes.
Luigi board? Can you burn a Luigi board? What is a Luigi board? My friends did a Luigi board and it mentioned me.
Other Jake, you just walked out of the theater, so talk to us about this film.
Yeah, I just got out of the theater, like probably an hour ago. Well, hour and a half ago, maybe. I put off going to the theater because I haven't been to the theater in so long too. I think pre-COVID, I haven't been to a theater. So I was like, I was supposed to do it yesterday, and then I was like, today I'm just gonna not watch the movie and listen to them talk about it, and then get excited to go watch the movie. But then I woke up and I dragged myself to the theater, and the theater was empty. And they still made me pick my seats.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you pick, man. I I don't care.
Yeah.
So he just gave me a generic seat, but I was there by myself, so it was great. It was like a living room. It was creepy with the audio though.
Yeah.
Which I think the audio is great anyway. Like Ryan said, I agree so much with what he said. Our situations being similar. I've never been like a big go to see a horror movie. Like I've always been like, in my mind, I was like, well, no, horror movies are great like with friends at your house at like a party or something or something like that.
And
so
they are.
That is a great secondary location, but I agree so much that the audio and the visual aspects of it too, and just that loud, disembodied, like, I don't know, it's a good experience, and this movie made it's so great throughout. A lot of care was taken. I think a lot of the stuff I like, the subtleties of something that doesn't, even this movie, like it didn't go even as far as Hereditary, where it was like more occulty stuff. It didn't show you any iconography or any, like, it was so personal to people's life stories and how you would get involved in some sort of mediumship or something like that. It used the actors well, and like I said, it was just a subtle take on something so supernatural. And I thought that was really good. It surprised me in a lot of those ways. I would give it a 10, but it's just so early. I got to do some rewatching and some thinking and some processing. But I'm going to give it an even 9 embalmed thumbs up.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
That's
Nice.
Let's go.
All right.
Everybody over 9 at least.
Yeah.
Well, 9 and up.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
No, Emily was 8.8.
8.8.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
fuck you, Emily.
I guess 8 out of 8. That's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's
I guess.
true.
So Ryan, what are you giving the spook factor of this film?
It was scary. It was pretty scary, but it still doesn't get to the Hereditary level for me. Hereditary, just there was something about the emotional dread that it built. I think it did a little bit better of a job with that in Hereditary, but it's not that I think that Talk to Me failed at that. I just don't think that was its main goal.
No.
You know, you obviously felt for Mia, but it wasn't like the punches in the gut that you were getting along with the horror of Hereditary. So I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 Frenched bulldogs.
That's good. That's good.
Pretty spooky though.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely pretty spooky. I think
It's
Go
when humor
ahead.
breaks it up, it
Yeah, that definitely helps. I scored Evil Dead Rise a little bit higher than this.
Okay.
Oh.
I think Evil Dead Rise scared me a little more than this one did.
Yeah.
But this one, it was definitely it moved the needle for sure.
Yeah, I didn't know. Because it was especially it's all practical, and I didn't know if that was going to have more of an. But I mean, Evil Dead Rise is pretty practical. Nothing you don't see. It's not like it where you can see clear CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you'll hear from the future from us.
Yeah.
Evil Dead
Yeah.
Rise.
Yeah,
Oh, true. Yeah, that hasn't come out yet.
but it's spooky. Okay, well, since it's a new movie, I don't want to talk about it too much without kind of having a spoiler warning. So let's get into spoilers.
Hey everyone, Ryan here, and I'm here to tell you about Us, Horrorphobia, the spooky movie review podcast. Now, we love doing this show for you guys weekly, absolutely free of charge, but if there's something you want to do to support us, there's many ways you can do that. One of those ways would be to tell a friend, because word of mouth travels faster than you think. Another huge way would be to leave a review on our podcast on either Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to your podcast. That helps because it really will boost us up the algorithm and allow us to be more visible, so more people like you who enjoy the podcast will be able to find us. And we also have our Patreon at patreon.com/horrorphobia. There you will find all of our tiers and the benefits you will get for subscribing to them. And then we have our socials, Twitter at Horrorphobia Pod, Instagram at Horrorphobia Podcast, and our Facebook is Horrorphobia, a spooky movie review podcast. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the show.
Okay, so Ryan, I want to hear more about the fact that someone took your seats and you guys didn't try to sit in your own seats.
Because it was just so when we first walked in. All right, so we show up at the theater. It is fucking packed, like absolutely packed. And I'm like, dude. But we looked online and there was a bunch of seats available. And then I look and I can see everyone's dressed in pink that's walking in. So everyone's going to see Barbie. So I'm just like, okay, like we're good, right? So we picked 2 seats in the back. I chose the very back row because I was going to try to take notes and I didn't want to distract anybody.
Yeah.
And so it was like the aisle seats in the very back. We go back there and there's just like one dude just sitting there, but the entire row was still open. So I was like, well, whatever. You know what I mean? But so we sat in some seats, but then the back row started to fill up and fill up and fill up. And then eventually like these 2 girls came up and we were sitting like in their seats. And so we had to move down. And so I sat next to the guy who's in my seat.
Yeah.
And all he did all film long was just fart. Just the entire fucking time.
Talking to me.
Yeah. And it was
just
just
talking to his butthole.
And not even audible ones, just those silent ones that you can tell he's got a shit. Like where it's just like, dude, like it just smells like fucking death. And I'm like, I was so fucking pissed.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I was able to focus on the movie. I wasn't able to take notes. It was too dark of a movie to be able to see my notebook.
Yeah. No, I mean, we sat in the back row of our screening too, and for the same reason, but I didn't end up taking any notes. I just I got out of the theater and like I had a few thoughts that I just jotted down, and I thought about it more, and I jotted more down, and I just kind of did it that way. Especially because I noticed somebody that was on their phone in our aisle. We were the back row, but I could like in my peripheral, I could see it, and it bothered me. So I was like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess we can kind of talk about the box office gross and the critical reception, but I mean, especially with, like you said, there's not much box office gross, but it did make more this opening weekend than it was expecting to. They were they were not expecting it to make, I think it made 10 million in America.
It's at 12 right now. It was a budget of 4.5 and it's at 12 million right now. So it's, it's doing good so far. It's going to be there for a while. I don't even think this is counting international yet. So, it's on a good pace.
It's made its money back either way, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure they're quite happy with it. Emily's pulled up some reviews, so let's get some stuff, some information about the critical reception.
So far, the critical reception, it's 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 3.9 out of 5 on Google reviews. A lot of people did not either didn't get it or.
I mean, 3.9 out of 5 is pretty good.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
They were just
like
they were rating the ad campaign.
Yeah, that's true. Pretty much. And someone called it the smile of 2023, which I think is a pretty good comparison.
Yeah. I mean, I think smile feels more derivative, but it does. Whenever people have talked to me about smile, one of my main, big pros about that movie is that it it's allegory, but it doesn't beat you over the head with it. And this, like I said in this review, it's kind of the same thing where
Yeah.
it's elevated horror, but it's not cunty about it, and it's not, because like elevated horror can get really, really
Expository.
yeah, and especially when you get into like Alex Garland's Men and stuff of that, it just gets, it's allegory out the wazoo, but it's I don't know, it's frustrating to watch sometimes because some of the allegory doesn't even really have a meaning, so it kind of ceases to be allegory at that point.
Yeah.
But this one is, my only thing when I was watching it was trying to figure out whether or not it was for trauma or drug addiction or mental illness, because it kind of seemed like it was going between all three of those. I listened to an interview, or I read an interview with the guys, the Raka brothers or whatever, that wrote this, and they said that what inspired it was watching videos of kids getting really, high off whatever drugs. I'm guessing K2 or Spice, because I've heard about the same kind of experiences on that. Because,
Salvia.
Yeah, because they were saying that people were smoking something and they started like getting like seizures, and everybody around them was just laughing and not concerned about their well-being, and they were just recording them, and that's kind of what inspired the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many like hints of like drug addiction in this movie too.
Yeah.
And then like later on in the interview, he said that his main idea was thinking about debilitating depression and how it affects the others around you. So it kind of seems like it's kind of all of those kind of mixed in together.
I mean, those often live together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, especially with when I saw the kangaroo scene early in the movie, I was like, that's when I was like, I think this is about depression, because it's it was like her doing the selfish thing and not putting something out of its, something that's clearly crying for help, and she's just going around it. And I was like, so that's when I first started thinking it was about that. And but yeah, like I said, the interview I read kind of backed it up.
I was gonna say that was I think that I brought my kind of bias into it, which I feel like this movie like uses a lot of those points as a device for all of those like meanings. So I've been reading a lot of Philip K. Dick, so I've been in the space of mental illness. So I was just reading the third in the Valis trilogy, which is the transmigration of Timothy Archer, and like there's so much like in his writing, it just comes through that like those spiraling, like I don't know, like the mental space you're in when you're in depression, or I don't know. I was just in that space, so seeing a lot of that stuff, like, and I think, like Ian said, there's a lot of drug allegory too. There were definitely scenes of that, but that also, those go hand in hand. I also this week have been doing we've been doing for the United Way. Like I've been touring, like yesterday they had us tour like the Mental Health Association and like some like community outreach stuff for like mental health and homelessness and mission work, and like seeing those people and how mental illness affects people and their day to day, and how they can just, their perspective was like, I mean, it was a lot. So like seeing this movie and being in that headspace, there was a lot of stuff to take in as far as that goes, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think you can take that and kind of put whatever meaning you can, and other people will probably do breakdowns and they'll have an hour-long thesis on what they thought it meant. So
yeah, I mean, either way, I'm like Emily said, they got all kind of intermingle and kind of go in and out of each other anyway. And kind of whatever meaning you derive. What?
Ryan farting into the mic.
No, I didn't fart. Jake moved his mic again. I
don't believe you.
You can't hear me?
No.
No.
Jake,
like
other
other
Jake.
Jake, did you slide your mic when you were talking?
I moved my mic.
Yeah, it sounds like a fart every time you do it. So
Was that it?
it didn't do it that time.
Okay.
It's only when you're doing it. It's only when you're doing it naturally. You can't force it.
Yeah.
Can't force the fart.
I'm fidgeting. I'm fidgety.
Well, let's
so
start
funny.
our walkthrough of the film.
For sure. So we have a young man, Cole, stumbles through a crowded house party as he attempts to locate his brother Duckett, who is injured. And while Cole is escorting him out, Duckett stabs Cole before fatally stabbing himself. The first scene is it's like a house party.
Knife.
Yeah. We should have got that drop.
Fuck.
Why didn't we get that drop?
Damn.
The first scene, it's like a house party, and like, yeah, this dude Cole like comes in and like desperately looking for his brother who's locked himself in a room. And when he breaks it down, this dude's Duckett, he's fucked up, and it's a pretty shocking scene to start out a film with. Like the stabbing scene when he stabs himself in the head was just whoo. Like,
Yeah.
it was wild.
Yeah, I remember
It's
that
not a
one.
knife.
Yeah. And
They keep just trying to drop that in.
Yeah, for sure.
Somewhere in this part of the show.
I'll just clip that of you saying it and I'll just drop it in.
Worth it. Derail this fucker.
So
I missed this part because the line was really long with the Barbie movie. So
no.
You're
Did you both
spoiling
miss
it
it?
for me.
No, I caught her up with it, but I just kind of I told her, I was like, this guy went looking for his brother, found his brother. His brother said something about their dad, saying that the guy that found him has been a bad person or something like that. And then the other brother's like, our dad's been dead for 9 years or something like that. He says something like that. And then he walks out, and then the guy doesn't follow him, and then kind of walks out of scene, and then he stabs him.
I made him say that to me like 3 times in the movie. That whole thing he just said. Didn't hear most of what he said, and then I just said, "Okay."
Okay. So you just heard it for the first time
I
now.
heard, and I was like, "Okay, thank you so much for catching me up."
Got so much information.
I appreciate it.
I like how it started out with him being like, "Get off your phones, like put your phones away."
Oh yeah, because everyone was filming it.
Yeah, that was a theme that carried through the whole movie. Was like, I wish you people would have been real friends to like he was.
Yeah.
He thought he was around friends. Like that's why they'd sit and do something like that. But it's
there were a lot of not real friends in this movie.
Oh yeah.
There were a lot of people, but this was the first movie that, for some reason, it makes me really uncomfortable when people use technology like iPhones in movies. I don't know why, because they've been around for like 20 years now.
I get the same thing. It's so
Yeah.
strange because before the last few years, they were never part of movies, really.
Exactly. Yeah, they
Like,
kept
all
them out
this
even though they've been in our
modern-
lives for forever.
Uh-huh.
Now it's so
I
ubiquitous.
guess just because we're such fucking hipsters.
We're getting
but
old.
I know.
I always like get like a little weirded out when I hear like something about phones and or texting in a song.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Same. Yeah.
Same concept to me.
Or
yeah,
like
it's-
Yeah.
when
You're just
someone
like, "What?"
mentions Twitter or something, even though we've been using it for like most of our lives at this point. I mean, not anymore. RIP Twitter, I guess.
I think
X.
X. Throw your
But
X up.
This was the first movie that it didn't bother me because I think it was an important part, and
Yeah.
I think they used it well.
Yeah. No,
For
I mean,
sure.
like, I did definitely. I mean, we haven't gotten into it yet, so I guess I'll hold back what I'm gonna say.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll keep moving then.
You can shut your fucking mouth.
It introduces all of our main characters pretty quickly. We have 17-year-old Mia is struggling with the second anniversary of her mother Rhea's suicide and her emotionally distant relationship with her father Max. She finds solace in her best friend Jade's family, consisting of Jade's mother and little brother Riley. The mother is the chick from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. It took me
Um,
forever to figure that
Aunt
out.
Rachel from Lord of the Rings.
Aunt Rachel.
No way. Yeah.
Wait, what?
We used to say that she looked like Ian's aunt.
Oh,
Rachel.
really?
Oh, Ian's aunt?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can
yeah, I
see
can see that.
And
She doesn't
I
look so
also
much
didn't
now, but
recognize
she
it.
she
Yeah.
did back then.
When
Yeah,
she's a
I have
redhead,
never
she doesn't look as
I haven't
much.
seen Lord of the Rings, so
You haven't
No.
seen Lord of the Rings?
no.
All right.
Your girlfirlriend has.
All right,
invited
let's
you
talk
up to
about
the
it. No, I'm
Yes, yeah.
kidding.
I
Um,
couldn't,
He is
couldn't
a
nail
female,
down where
isn't
she
she?
looked so familiar from.
yeah, she's the one that wants Aragorn, but he doesn't want her.
Yeah.
Is she an Aussie or a New Zealander?
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think she's an Aussie. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I moved my
ask Nathan.
Yeah, if he knows her.
They're probably
ask if he
neighbors.
knows her.
Nathan,
Reach out.
They live right down the street from one another. Yeah.
So yeah, like there's this small like broken family kind of but you know the mother's like real fiery, and you know there's a good relationship between Mia and even like the little brother Riley.
Yeah.
There's a big sister, like a second big sister relationship they have there. We see that with like them driving,
Singing
and
Sia together.
yeah, singing the Swing from the Chandelier song. That's where this the kangaroo scene you were talking about comes up. What was it about that kind of hit you, Jake, that you were talking about? The like why specifically did that make you think of like depression?
Well, I mean, I guess it could also be, you could also think it was drug addiction, but that was just my thought when he was saying like it's suffering, you got to put it out of its misery, and she's like, no, and she
yeah.
just drives around it. Is because
Yeah.
I feel like when a lot of people see family members struggling with shit like that, they kind of just don't even want to talk about it. They just kind of skirt around it, and they kind of trick themselves into thinking that that's the loving thing to do, but it's really not.
Gotcha.
So that I don't know. Like I said, you could make that connection to all three of those if you really want to, but I took it as like dealing with people with mental illness and just kind of going around the problem.
I think what she said after too is like another car will come, like another person will come and deal with this. Like,
Yeah.
Not my problem.
Yeah.
Kind
Someone else will
of.
speak up about this, like.
And then I think that circles back, like it ends. It kind of culminates at the end. We'll get there with like that same imagery and the same idea of, you know, a roadway and the kangaroo and stuff. So, but that did stick out to me, the way it tied that up. The fact that she was like, someone else is going to come along. Like this thing is suffering, but it's not my business. Like it's not my responsibility. Like I can't do it. Which, like, you kind of empathize with, because it's like at that point, you know, a little bit about, you know, her experience. Like, oh wait, do we? I don't know if we know yet that.
I think I don't think we know anything about the second anniversary of her mother's death. I don't think we know that yet at this point, because I think our first time seeing her is when she picks up Riley.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we're
in the car.
Yeah. So you don't empathize with her, like dick.
Dude, she's an asshole.
Who's this?
Yeah.
Rue.
I think it's a good fit for her personality too, because the whole movie you try to decide whether you like her or not, or like.
Or not.
Or not.
There was an accidental Australian accent.
A little Australian accent just slipped in there.
Just slipped it in there.
Jake's rubbing off on me.
I
think this is
you're so good at it. You're really bad at accents. Why are you good at this? Sorry,
that's one of his best friends.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Shout out Nathan. You've made him the man he is today.
Yeah, he's not fucking subscribed to our Patreon though. I know that.
Nathan.
I was gonna say too, I think this is the first time you get kind of this gurgling, like gestative sound that kind of carries throughout the film. I noticed it. Maybe I don't know if this scene specific. I think I did. I think that was the first time I picked up on it. There's like this gurgling. I don't know. Like I think they carried on later when like there's some flesh to flesh scenes, or like there's some hand scenes. Like there's this bubbly like gurgling low sound. That
the sound usage was great.
Yeah, some of
the whole thing.
Scenes.
Did anybody have any character at the from the main ones in the family? Anybody have any character that kind of stood out to them from the beginning? They kind of attached to.
I like the mom the best.
Yeah, she was charming.
Yeah.
She said funny things.
Yeah.
She was a hard ass, but like you could tell it was like coming from a place of love.
What's the friend's name?
Mia or Jade?
Jade.
Yeah.
I think she looks like Lord, but I think I was just imposing.
She
I
did.
mean, Lord's
Oh, yeah,
not
yeah. No,
Australian.
definitely.
yeah.
New
Kind of like
Zealand.
Lady Bird
I am Lord.
esque.
She leaned over to me in the theater and she didn't say she looks like Lord. She says, "Why does everyone look like Lord in this movie?" I was like, okay. I guess they all look like Lord.
I didn't see any separate faces. They all just look like Lord.
I think Mia was great, and like her character, I liked her outsider. Like that was another thing too, is like they were doing that like foster kid type thing where it was almost like they have a good relationship, but it's also like a hazy relationship, like to where it's like you'll talk a little shit and like you'll poke each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is great. And the kid, I don't know who the actor was, but like the one of the two halves, the non-black like people who had the hand, he reminded me of like the main kid in Recess.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
talking about I think her name is Haley. That was a chick, I'm pretty sure.
Zoe.
Oh no, I think Haley was the right name, but I think it was a dude.
I think it's not.
Wait, was it?
I think
Probably non-binary.
I think they
probably not binary, but I think they used she in the movie.
Oh,
Did they?
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like they said he.
I
But
think they.
I-
I didn't
think they
pick
said
up
he-
on that.
I
Let
think-
me vet that real quick.
Oh yeah, Google says actor.
Hey, well,
Oh.
female actor, male actor.
Yeah, I think they kind of changed that
that.
to like the
They
same
changed
thing.
that nomenclature earlier.
I suppose.
Yeah. Let's figure this out.
I mean, I thought
we
she was
can-
a girl, but
I thought also, but the
Any of these little fuckers ever pop out of the fucking
Zoe-
wall and say,
so
"Fuck, there's a
Zoe-
cock in my room" or a donkey dick?
So long.
Zoe Terakis.
she identifies as non-binary and transmasculine.
Ha!
Okay.
Pretty sure it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but
a boy.
what's the character? I feel
Well,
like
yeah, that's what I
think
mean.
it's the same thing. Like it seems like the character is non-binary.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like
All right,
she's
well,
like
I will do my best to refer
Hey.
to them as they from now on. Going
they had great bangs, and they reminded me of the main kid from Recess.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Except for
Yeah.
doesn't have a backwards red hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. Yeah. Well, that's the hair he had under that hat, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
TJ, right? Is that
Yeah.
TJ from Recess?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, she. Oh yeah.
Well, their
Uh,
name is Haley, right? And
Haley. Haley's my favorite.
Haley was great.
Yeah,
Just
funny.
like the way they would say like jog on. It's like that was like that's like my favorite way of like saying like fuck off. Like jog on, fuck off.
Without saying fuck off.
John,
Yeah.
fuck off.
Joss was the friend that was also kind of in on it. But so Mia, Jade, and Riley all sneak out to a party hosted by Haley and Joss. The main attraction is a mysterious severed and bulbed hand, which they use to conjure spirits by lighting a candle and saying, "Talk to me," which allows them to meet the spirit. Next, they say, "I let you in" for full possession. The candle is blown out after 90 seconds to close the door. Otherwise, the spirits will stay. There are very clear rules for this. It's easy to dissect if you want to be like, well, how do they know all this, whatever? But I just choose to believe that it's knowledge that's been passed down. Because
Firmly grasp it.
It's the only rule you need to know.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's this hand that's just kind of it stands up on the table. It's got the handshaking, gesture, and there's like little words written all over it.
Yeah.
I didn't catch what a lot of them were. Did anybody
Mhm.
catch any of them?
No.
I'd have to like look at it again. But it was apparently was supposed to be like the hand of a medium, like the severed hand of a medium that had a
Severed hand of
connection.
some type of spiritualist. Yeah.
Yeah, so some kind of a connection to the afterlife, and it's been embalmed. And so they're playing this game, but then it's also kind of like a drug because when they do it, they talk about how it's like this euphoric feeling, like they feel like they're like a bright light, and you know, that's the only reason why it's obviously terrifying to the people around, but when the spirit exits the body, it's like they are laughing and they feel great, whatever. So I think that's where the drug allegory would come in, if that was intended or not.
Yeah,
because once they're taken over, they are just in a feeling of euphoria, kind of.
Yes, because they're now on autopilot, and the spirit is controlling the body, saying things. But also, what I found interesting is that the spirit has the memories of the person that they're inhabiting.
Yeah.
So it knows things about them.
Yeah.
Find it interesting. So I think the only person that does it from the original group is Mia.
In the first
She's
scene,
she is possessed by a spirit that threatens Riley. Mia, while being possessed, looks over at Riley, the little brother, and says, like, he's behind you, like, and he starts, like, you know, screaming at him and stuff.
Him to run.
Run.
Yeah.
Run.
He's gonna split you open.
Yeah, like a lot of threats.
Ryan,
what's up?
How much money would I have to pay you if this was a real thing to do it?
How much money would you have to pay me?
You're not going to do it for free. I'm pretty sure.
No, I wouldn't. Enough to where I'd never have to work again.
Really?
Yeah.
What about what if it's just grab the hand and say talk to me? You don't have to say let me in.
All right, let you.
Two beers, and I'll do it.
No, because that would fuck up my entire life. Like that would, dude. I would like going forward. It would change my entire perception of life.
Yeah.
What if I buy
it's
you
like doing
a
acid,
brand
dude.
new like mailman uniform?
A new mail truck.
I don't want it. No, I actually was gonna ask you guys. Like, I feel like you would just do it because you'd be like, "This is bullshit."
Oh, I definitely
you just want to prove that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Immediately.
So, what would be your reaction if it was real?
I don't know. Like, I mean, like you say, like it seems to the spirit always seems to have like knowledge, but it seemed like unreliable knowledge. Like the whole he doesn't want to touch you, or whatever, to Lord. When he starts talking to Lord. Like I don't believe that, and there's nothing in that in the rest of the movie really made me believe that he was like that.
You don't trust what
but
the spirits are saying.
the spirit knew enough to know that was like they were dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
You
and
know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
it would just be the proof of a video recorded of you saying something that you don't remember because you're like blacked out, having a great time outside your body.
That's true.
I feel like that.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
No, I mean, seeing is believing. So if I see it, I believe it. So
Like if I
Would you
recorded
freak out a little bit, or would you think it was cool?
A little bit of both, probably.
I think it's like there was such a randomness to, like, even in film, it was like one of the funner scenes was them just getting a random spirit. Like it was more of like the Greek word for like daemon, like more daemon, because like they didn't assign good or evil to the spirit. It was just a spirit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like you, and no matter what you're getting is like, well, I think the likelihood, it doesn't seem like those spirits are in a great place, so I wouldn't like count on getting a good experience. But no matter what, I wouldn't trust it. Like it's from somewhere else. It's like it's my reality is so based on what my senses tell me, which philosophically, I mean, gets you into a whole
I mean,
another can of worms.
I would
But
probably start the show Ghost Adventures if it happened to me because I love this shit. I just don't believe in it. So if I started
Literally
believing
have
it, I'd
that
just
on our
probably like,
TV
all right,
right
I'm
now.
a ghost guy now. I'm just gonna go find ghosts.
Right.
Yeah, that's
I
on
guess.
it's on our TV right now.
that would feel so
Or, yeah.
fruitless.
I love that.
I become
Yeah,
Zach
I love that.
Bagans.
Like
I'm wearing that. I think I'm wearing that shirt too.
Like I think the
Actually.
Wearing a
roster
Ghost
for the
Adventure shirt?
spiritual word.
A Zach Bagan shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
That's amazing.
Like I feel like the roster for the spiritual like world is like too deep. That I'm like, oh, you could have one of these experiences and then never have one again, and that would be like a funny joke. And it'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, your life was a fucking waste, and that's the joke.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want it. Either way, reality.
So Mia goes over the 90-second limit because the spirit fights back when they try to get the hand off of her. So it goes a little bit past the 90-second deadline, which they had said before with these rules that it's gonna want to stay if that happens.
Mhm.
This is important for later. Now, the group plays again at Jade's house the next night, where young Riley volunteers. He is possessed by Rhea's spirit, or so we think, who speaks to Mia. Mia stops the group from blowing out the candle, and the time limit is exceeded because she wants to talk to her past mother. Riley's body is overtaken by the spirits, and he brutally smashes his face and nearly takes out his own eye. He is hospitalized while the rest of the group is traumatized. Mia, now haunted by visions of the ghosted Rhea, is turned away by Jade and her mother Sue, who blame her for Riley's injuries. This entire scene was fucking bananas.
It was
So good.
It was the
Yeah.
best scene of the movie, I think.
Yeah,
I loved
same.
it.
Yes.
When he tried to like claw his own eyeball, it was oh my god.
So cool.
Yeah.
That was
I
awesome.
started like kicking the air.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I was like,
My
"No!"
hands were over my head. I'm like,
Yeah.
I love being in that theater by myself because I was expressive.
Oh yeah.
That's the best part about going to a movie theater to see a horror movie is just like hearing everybody else just
The gasps.
Grown.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and laugh. Like I
And-
mean, I
yeah.
feel like a lot of
Yeah.
people laugh during a lot of this
Oh.
movie.
Yeah.
I was making jokes and it was killing, dude. I just
Yeah.
I would make jokes and just freaking chuckles all over.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you
Great.
can feel the ebb and
I felt like a king, dude.
That's why he likes seeing horror movies in theaters now because people laugh.
Well, because I wasn't doing it like I was whispering them to my friend, but people just heard it and they
Yeah.
were like, yeah. So they start out with like it's just like fun, like everyone's just going around doing it like drugs.
Yeah. I
They're
also
passing
loved that
around.
scene where it was the like montage of them
Yes.
laughing.
When she's got the they what the fuck is their name?
Haley.
Haley has the she's got the hand. God damn it, I'm gonna keep saying she. I was born in the 90s. I'm sorry, I'm doing my best here.
You know what's funny too is the spirits. Like if you're reading through the Wikipedia, like anytime they mention demons, they're talking about they too. So it's like, wait, is he talking about the demons or is he talking about this non-binary
Haley.
individual?
Yeah, no fucking clue. But they have the hand and with the joint in it and they're smoking out of it.
Yeah.
That was super funny.
Yeah.
Well, even the like the imagery of the lighter hitting every time they light the candle was so like I almost felt that was like too like it's almost like a red herring for the drug allegory of the film. It's like, well, maybe this isn't about drugs because it's so on the nose.
Yeah.
Right.
And usually like I was expecting this movie to not be so on the nose, but maybe that
Well, there
was
might be
we talked.
there might be like the obvious allegory that like casual watchers can find, and then the deeper one that if you really look into it, like I think there's layers to all this kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
multi-layered.
You can find whatever kind of allegory you want. Really, it's just art is meant to be interpreted in different ways. So whether or not it meant that, if it can be interpreted that way to you, I think it's just as valid.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, like through the interview, we do know that those were for sure inspirations. Like the drug thing is definitely an inspiration.
Yeah.
Like he openly says that like he was thinking about debilitating depression, how it affects others while he was writing it. Like we know that. I mean, the only thing that they haven't 100% confirmed is mental illness, I suppose. But like I kind of just, or not mental illness, trauma, but like that's kind of inherent through a child that their mother possibly killed themselves and you become a troubled child because of it, you know.
Well, even the opening scene with Duck or whatever, Duckett or Tuckett or whatever, Duckett, like that was like, I think he was like asking about his dad, and it's family trauma. So it's like, it's almost like the betrayal of someone close to you as well. Like there's those whispers in your ear that affect your view on someone who you feel like may have a like blame you. And that, like what I was talking earlier with Philip K. Dick, like that last book of the Velas trilogy seems like it's all about that, like what you put on the people closest to you because of your grief can be like some of the worst shit. So I definitely saw that in this movie.
For sure.
But the drug, like we were talking about this, the scene that we're talking about was, I think, the best case and the nail on the head moment for the drug allegory.
Yeah, I mean, and they definitely wanted to shoot it in that way where they're like, let's shoot it like a party, like
with the
fucked up
music
montage,
like that 70s show.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, like
the hand is the camera, and it's just
it's just like spinning around.
It was like Grandma's Boy.
One of the other good parts of that scene was when Daniel does it, and you had mentioned when he looks at his girlfriend Jade and is like, he hates it when you touch him, and then he looks over at Mia and he starts like licking his lips and like he like falls on the ground and starts dry humping the floor. And then making out with the dog.
And then he makes out with the dog. Yeah, apparently they knew that they didn't want to hurt the dog, and so that's why they take the dog out of the situation, because while they were writing, they're like, we can't, like, if we keep the dog in the scene, the dog's gonna die. We got to get the dog out of the scene. And so they said that a lot of people during screenings of this film, they're like, you better fucking not, you know. And so
absolutely.
No, we don't want to hurt dogs in our movies. So.
They just turned that dog into a hoe, and then they I thought
they hurt a kangaroo though.
They did.
But let's
I think kangaroos are they're like deer here in America.
Oh yeah,
you know, they're
the
just
worst.
See them dead on the side of the road all the time.
So this was the joke that I made. So when we see Riley's face after he fucks himself up in the hospital, and it's like all swollen and shit, I like leaned over.
Bones and paper skin. Every morning I break my legs, and every afternoon I break my arms.
I leaned over to my friend and I was like, his head looks like a stubbed toe. And everybody fucking died in the theater, and I felt like a king. But yeah, he looked bad.
Yeah.
Looked real bad. Mom, obviously a very protective mother to begin with.
Yeah.
And now basically turns away Mia, saying like, you're not getting anywhere near him. You're not welcome in this family anymore.
Yeah.
So seeking comfort from Jade's boyfriend, Daniel, whom she used to date, Mia spends some time with Daniel, says she doesn't want to be alone, ends up, they sleep in the same bed, head to toe, but
their middle parts are still touching.
Yeah.
The important part.
Yeah.
Mia sees a spirit in the corner of the room get up and start to suck Daniel's toes. However, when Daniel wakes up, it's Mia that's sucking his toes. And you start to get, at that point, that's kind of when you start to understand that when you're seeing one of these spirits doing something, it's the person who's possessed that's actually doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when they see the spirit, it's just because they're having an out-of-body experience watching the spirit do it, but it's their physical body is actually doing it. So she's trying to wake up Daniel, and she's like, there was a woman that was sucking your toes. And he was like, yeah, it was fucking you.
Yeah.
You're the woman.
Yeah. And so fucking he leaves. Riley back at the hospital is still possessed. He attacks Jade and he starts to violently self-harm against he's like in the shower and he starts banging his head against the tile behind him. There's blood everywhere and he starts like slurping up the blood. It's some real fucked up shit.
It is, yeah.
Great job.
Agony until my heart attacks put me to sleep.
Yeah, the whole God, there was and like the sounds that they were using, there was a lot of like the sound of his head cracking was always it was like this frequency that hit your ears, like it made you cringe just from the sound alone.
It was like
then paired with the
splattering,
visual.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I noticed that too. I can't remember where it is, but there's a scene where like Mia is like slapping herself in the face. That audio was fucking horrible. Like I hated it. The sound of the slap. It was slapped. Oh, it was so bad. And the worst audio was Jade's fucking ringtone.
You're only crazy.
So funny.
I know somebody that had that ringtone, and I can't remember. Like my mom or something. I just remember hearing it so often.
Here's what I have to say about Crazy Frog.
Okay, 2001 called. I was like, oh. They hit the second tower.
Hell yeah, dude.
Never forget.
That's crazy.
Man, I love Crazy Frog. I guess I don't think I had a actual close friend that had it as a ringtone. So I just remember watching the commercials for like download Crazy Frog.
Reminds me of the roller rink.
Never forget.
Yeah. Never forget. Crazy Frog.
Never forget.
Never forget.
Is that gonna be the photo for this? Right
Yeah.
Never forget.
With the towers behind him.
Nice. Thank you.
That is fucking amazing.
It's somebody grasping the hands. It's Dick Cheney saying "Talk to me."
Yeah.
And then it's fucking Osama's on the other side. He's like, "You did this."
So.
Him walking through the darkness.
So the friends, the group of people that were doing this talk to me ritual, they tracked down Cole, the original guy from the beginning, whose brother Duckett, stabbed him and then killed himself. This is who they got the hand from originally. Well, they got it from Duckett. Duckett said that he didn't need it anymore because he was seeing the spirits without them or without the hand. So he obviously went over 90 seconds and now he no longer needs the hand to make that connection. Cole reveals that the spirits will weaken the longer they stay in Riley's body, so they need to wait it out, though Mia fears the spirits will kill Riley before that. Mia deduces that they need to complete the ritual by blowing out the candle, which they failed to do the first time. They contact the spirit of a little girl who shows Mia a vision of Riley being tortured by the spirits. The unreliable narrative here was confusing, but then when it all, like, as it reveals more information to you, it's not like you're missing a ton. It does give you time to catch up before revealing more, like, crucial information, because I think they know, like, you're going to need a little bit of time to process some of the rules here. And yeah,
one of the parts that I don't really love about the movie is is it Cole? That's the guy who gave them, or was the friend.
That's the guy on the bus.
Yeah.
Cole was the brother. So Duckett gave them the hand. Cole was his brother.
His brother. After they met with him, and then they were at the bus station or the train station or whatever, and Haley and her friend just left and then exited the movie forever. I kind of wish they would have just like stayed in the movie, or we saw some sort of like other exit. I don't love that they just like disappeared, but also that just shows that they're like how medium level people they are, where they just brought the hand in and then just disappeared. Like,
and just left it. Like she kept ending up with the hand. I'm like, somebody responsible.
yeah,
Put
yeah,
this somewhere.
Oh yeah,
away from-
Mia swiped the hand.
yeah, yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
they gave it back to her.
Yeah, they didn't want it anymore. They saw what it would do,
Oh.
and they
He
just
took
like,
it. They got
Yeah.
it from her, and then they're like, actually, yeah, we're gonna give this back to you. You seem
Exactly,
like
we
the
don't want it.
person who can
Yeah.
fix it.
Which honestly, going back to
Fucking morons.
the like drug allegory, someone who like introduces you to something like that, and then they're just like, okay, have fun, bye.
Definitely.
Kinda
Yeah,
thing.
they enable you and then
Your
realize
fucking
you're in over
problem
your
now.
head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And they're like, I don't want to fix you. Bye.
yeah.
And even back to the scene where Riley busted himself up, like the camera tracks with Mia, like kind of paced like right, like eye
Yeah.
level with her with the candle. The background blurs, and you see Haley and what's his face,
Is it
his
John?
friend.
Is that
What's his name?
Ross.
Ross?
Ross.
That's not
Joss.
what I thought you said at first.
Or no, Joss. Sorry.
Oh,
Joss and
Joss,
Haley
okay.
are instantly like, we
Joss.
need to get our story straight. Like fuck this.
Yeah.
Let's bail. Like they're
Yeah.
instantly looking for an exit on how to be like bad people in this situation. They're like, let's just get the fuck out of here. We set
Yeah.
this up. We partied. Let's take this carnival, down the road.
So
They
is
were
he-
the not good friends from the beginning of the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the same people that were all
Who the fuck is
filming.
Duckett?
yeah.
Yeah, like filming Ducket or whatever. Like it's the same type of people. Like
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we were just here to party. Like we don't like you.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you
So
know.
maybe
And now
after
that this is
talking
getting
it out,
serious, we're gone.
I do
Yeah,
like
this is
that about
every
the
man for
movie
himself.
because it keeps that narrative.
Yeah.
I
So
think
interesting.
it like it parrots like what the spirits do too. Like I think that juxtaposition of that spirit world where they're all like devouring like a young spirit, like it's almost like I thought when they started doing that, I'm like, well, maybe that's where they go when the spirit like is in them. They're blacked out. Like maybe they're in that like devoury, like flesh rippy type, like in between of the in between, where it's like you don't have that memory until you're in a child, and the child's memory is like getting ripped apart, or like
Yeah.
like to where she's like, I'll show it. Like my brain went there. I've yet to piece together. I'd have to watch it again and see what was like actually on screen. I might be like just putting stuff together that's not there, but
I mean, you
Mhm.
saw it more recently than we did, so
it's true.
Yeah. But I think having some time to digest it does help a little bit. And
Absolutely.
No, I
I might
forgot
be
it.
seeing things that aren't there, like fucking spirits.
after after watching in the theater, me and my friend were driving home talking about it, and he had a question that I had a theory about, but I wanted to run it past you guys. He asked, why don't the spirits just do what the little girl does, where normally the person would have to say, I let you in, but in the case with when Mia is talking to the little girl in the hospital in front of Riley, the spirit says, I let you in.
Mm.
And
oh
like
yeah.
and
Yep.
he was like, why don't the spirits just do that every time? And my theory was that Mia didn't even need the hand anymore. She was seeing
Yeah.
spirits no matter what.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like she was already taken over. She was already possessed. And I don't think it's an individual possession. I think it's less of a possession and more of like she is now linked to limbo.
Yeah,
Channel.
she's like
so
she's like on that, I guess not up, but like down. She's like in that realm kind of. a little
yes, exactly. She's
She's
like
tuned
she's in-
into that frequency. Her
Yeah, yeah,
rods and
exactly.
tones can see, feel, hear.
And so when the little girl spirit said, I let you in, it was bullshit. Like she could have showed her that with or without the hand, is my theory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was essentially what I think is they were letting her believe for a little bit that she was still in control
Yeah.
to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And that hand represented that, where it's like, well, if I still need the hand to talk to the spirits, then maybe there's a little bit of a grace period to that 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no.
there's not.
It's
Yeah,
like it's
and in
almost like a corrupted immune system. Like once they can get in, they can like get in. So-
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think
so.
I think a lot of the rules are bogus too. It's not real. It's just like folklore.
Yeah, you just
Right.
shouldn't be
It can
fucking
be
with
used-
that shit.
it
Yeah.
honestly can be used against you.
The 90
So-
seconds could have just been like one of the first times that they had done it, and then that's when the spirit started getting aggressive. It was around 90
Oh
seconds.
yeah.
It could just be
Right.
a rule that they, an arbitrary time limit
Yeah.
that they set based
I'm-
off of one experience.
These are kids in their 20s, like their early 20s, that are making up these rules. They don't know that. They don't know anything.
And I think the spirit
Yeah.
realm is devoid of time, so it's like you're getting like Jake said, it's like the first time it's like, oh, shit went bad after like 3 minutes. Like that guy was in for 30 minutes and shit went like nuts. Like everybody died in our village or whatever. Everybody died in the apartment building. And it's like, well, we just learned from there to not let it go past this arbitrary time, but it's like that's bullshit. That's just
I did look at a
Right.
picture of the hand, and it's a bunch of different languages.
Yeah.
Oh,
on the
okay.
hand.
But it's vague.
One of
I
them
like
says,
that they didn't.
I want to see you, but then all the rest seem like different languages.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the one that I caught. That makes sense.
Isn't that like George Harrison? Like
The Beatles.
oh crap. Yeah. Doesn't he
I
have a
Wanna See
song?
You?
I really wanna hear.
Maybe.
Drop it in right there.
No, sing it in an Australian accent.
I think yeah. To get rid of all this. It's George Harrison's solo album. But it reminds me,
Oh,
he
okay.
just keeps saying like he almost like does like a bunch of different names for God. And then he says, I really want to see you. I really want to see you, Lord. And then he's like, I don't know. Just made me think of that.
Making it sound so
Yeah.
spooky.
It is. It's a spooky song. And they played it at work all the time. And I'm like, it made me want to look more into George Harrison. I know he had some interesting like spiritual beliefs.
Yeah.
Again, I'm diving into people from the 60s and 70s and their mental illnesses.
They
And
had
their
interesting
brush with Buddhism.
thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're reading an author that has time traveled, so that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what I'm saying. Like I feel like I'm losing my mind. So this movie didn't help.
Not helping.
So the story behind Mia's mother's death was told to Mia as an accident. It was told to her that she took too many sleeping pills on accident and that her father Max was sleeping on the couch and that Rhea was trying to get help and that she was scratching at the door after she took these pills and she had like wood in her fingernails. This is revealed to be something that Max was keeping from Mia as he reads the suicide note to Mia and apologizes for having hidden it from her. Rhea's ghost tells Mia that Max is lying before she's attacked by an evil spirit in the form of her father. And then Mia inadvertently stabs her real father in the neck with scissors. So unexpected, for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this whole thing, and you don't know who to trust at this point, like, because the thing is that the spirit of Mia's mother was right, and that they do take the form of people that and try to fuck with your head, which
Yeah.
was evident by this, a fucked up looking Max coming in and starting to choke Mia.
Yeah.
But then when the real Max walks in, Mia was just laying on the ground gasping for air for no reason because she was possessed and doing it to herself. Like that's the whole thing. Like we mentioned earlier, whenever the spirit is doing something, it's actually you doing it. And so when Max leans down, she grabs scissors and stabs him in the neck.
We don't.
Do you have a specific scary, like image or scene that like what made the rating that what it is as far as the spook?
I would say the toe sucking woman in the corner,
Yeah.
like standing up, was probably the worst.
That was for me too.
I think that was like the
I didn't like it.
That didn't scare me that much.
I mean, it didn't scare me, but it definitely upset me the most out of
It was
all of them.
upsetting.
Just that and just the very first time she says "talk to me," and they're like, "You,
yeah, where
you
she's
can
like,
speak."
it likes you.
Yeah, just the
I think Daniel did the best job with the possession. I think as far as like reaction,
Yeah.
like his like choking and stuff like that.
Yeah, that
like
was
I think his
scary.
was the most upsetting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, them honestly, more so than the seeing the spirits, them with the black eyes and the way that they altered their face the tiniest amount to make them look more
Mhm.
hollow was scary to me. I didn't like those faces. I don't like black eyes or like mouths without teeth or whatever. That shit freaks me out.
Mm.
I don't like that.
I mean,
The
I
bruising.
would. Sorry. I would say like Mia when she like her first like
Yeah,
possession
yeah.
or whatever, like when she's like run,
Super
run,
freaky.
run.
Run,
Like I'm like, whoa,
run.
what the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, hold on. I might be able to do something similar to this. Hold on a second.
You don't have to. We were just
Wait,
talking
wait,
about how
wait.
scary it was. Are the lights off in the room? Ah!
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah,
Was
for
that-
sure. It's like,
Was
what
that close?
the fuck?
There was some
Sure.
good like barking in this
Yeah.
movie. Too.
Oh yeah.
Like good like chomping at people.
Yeah.
Do we think that the mother? It's not actually the mom, right?
No.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
No, it's not. And you find that out later.
Yeah.
Because the woman that's behind her, like on the hill in front of the highway,
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
not her mother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Some fucked up looking chick.
Yeah. Is it the first lady that
Um,
she saw? The big lady?
No,
No.
I think it was just a
They
complete.
see
That's
her later.
like I said, it's not a specific demon that's possessing it. It's just limbo in general.
Yeah.
Like it's just they're just linked to that world now.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
No, fuck with that shit.
Yeah. Which I also think is a pretty cool idea for possession. That it's not just one spirit. It's like
I
all of
do.
them.
Yeah, that's a little different then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for like Insidious or something like that. But I mean, that's
Yeah.
even for specific big guy.
Right.
Yeah. Then it just turns
And-
into like a monster movie to me, where it's like,
Yeah, kind of.
I think it's fun to play with time and space, like in like a realm that could be like devoid of both those things. It's like our perception doesn't matter. It's like you could be walking down a hallway and it closes in on you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could be in a wide open space that seems open until a candle gets lit, and then it's like, well, now I'm just in front of this thing, or like so. It's a dip into a reality that is not ours. So it's like it kind of the rules are shifty, which
Yeah.
is fun to watch.
Right. So we know that the link that the spirits have to the people is something that will die down eventually. I think that's something that might be dependent on how much longer you held the hand than you were supposed to. I think the reason why Mia's getting so haunted is because she literally slept with the hand when she was talking to her mom. She did it herself and was like talking to her mother, quotations, and cuddled with her all night in a bed holding the hand. So
Which
that
doesn't,
probably
like-
sealed.
sucking its thumb.
Yeah, she's little spooned
Yeah, she little spooned.
Yeah,
with,
I-
you know,
with
And I
the
was-
entire spirit world.
I was kind of thinking about that too. Is honestly, I feel like most of the parts where they normalize the spirit more as she kind of casually just talking with her mother, kind of
Mhm.
was upsetting in its own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like just because it was like I'm still so upset by seeing it, but she's just like, yeah, mom.
Yeah.
So you sure you didn't do it? She's like, didn't do it.
yeah, she's like, I didn't kill myself. Your dad's a liar.
Was it me?
Wasn't me.
But yeah.
It's fucking
So
Shaggy.
after being told by Rhea that Riley needs to die in order to be set free, Mia tricks Jade and Sue into leaving the hospital and enters Riley's room, where he takes the appearance of a rotting spirit. But she finds herself unable to kill him. She goes in with the scissors in their back pocket, the same ones she just stabbed her dad in the neck with.
Meanwhile, Jade finds her dad, realizes that her brother is vulnerable to her friend, and leaves her still alive, dying
Yeah.
friend's father. And she's just like, oh, never mind. Someone I care about more is in danger. And she just
Yeah,
leaves him, and he's like,
He's laying there with his finger plugged in the hole.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Ugh,
Like,
hey.
there's no
She's
way.
like, oh, fuck, Riley.
I had lost all hope.
Yeah.
Leaves him. I'm Lord.
she
Hi, Lord.
just drives around that kangaroo. Just like, not my problem. But so Jade finds a bleeding Max at Mia's house and returns to the hospital just as Mia leaves with Riley in a wheelchair. The spirit attempts to convince Mia to push Riley into oncoming traffic. Mia instead throws herself in front of traffic, causing a car crash.
This is crazy. Why? There are so many ways to kill someone inside a hospital, and she hits him in a wheelchair. This is one of the parts that also brings me away from the movie. Where like you put him in a wheelchair and then bring him to this.
I mean,
road.
maybe in limbo, your social currency is how cool you died.
I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. It's like having a good crime in prison.
Yeah.
Fucking Sheila jumped in front of me car. Thought it was a fucking roo.
Yeah. So, it's obviously this fake out where you think that Mia's about to throw Riley in the traffic, but Riley was there. This is the part that did kind of confuse me. Is that so Riley was there. Riley was in the wheelchair being pushed down the hill.
Yeah.
But what Mia was seeing was just like some old spirit, right? And so we know that when you see a spirit doing something, it's actually you that's doing it. So when she thought she was throwing the spirit into the traffic, was she sitting in the wheelchair at that point? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Yeah. How did she get into the road?
well, she throws herself into traffic, and I think like it was kind of, it makes sense because like earlier with Duckett, like he killed himself. Like the spirits for some reason want the people to kill themselves. I don't know whether they're hoping that they can take the body or whether they want more spirits there in limbo.
Yeah.
Whatever the case is, for some reason they want the people to kill themselves.
I guess I didn't get that. I didn't get that. I thought that they were still trying to kill Riley, but that makes sense that they were trying to kill her.
I think they were. Riley was more important, but like it was kind of like the next car came along and she was like,
yeah,
I think she still had agency at that point to kill herself.
So
like
she
over
was
Riley.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like, but either way, the demons were like, well, it's almost like Haley and Joss. It's like, okay, we're losing options with this kid. She's fighting us. Let's throw ourselves over this cliff. Like,
yeah. Like, I mean, I guess it's weird because it can be interpreted so many ways. The way I interpreted it is that Mia did think she was killing Riley, but killed herself instead.
Yeah.
The same thing as like the toe sucking thing, where it's like Mia thought that someone else was sucking the toes, but she was sucking the toes.
Absolutely.
Like I think she thought that the person that being thrown in the traffic was Riley, ended up being her.
Yeah.
She wakes up
Dead.
in the street. There's like all this wreckage all around her.
But she does have that glow to her. Like it's almost like a glowy.
A new death glow.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looks over at the hill where they were standing and she sees Jade holding Riley.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to notice her, and then kind of like the whole scene kind of drops and like changes into like now all of a sudden she's in the hospital. She's wandering the hospital. She sees a fully healed Riley with Jade and Sue leaving the hospital. As she sees her father Max, she attempts to reach him, who survived his injury. She instead finds herself on the other side of another involved hand as partygoers play the game, realizing she has died and become a spirit herself.
I love the end of this movie. I love
yes,
quiet
and
confused.
it was the other hand, right? Like it was just a different hand, because the first one was a right hand and the second one was the left hand, right? I believe.
I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, it was because they talked about it earlier that there was they say that there's another one out there.
Yeah,
they were the hands of Pee Wee Herman.
Ah, no, R.I.P.
Topical.
Topical.
We're getting a bump from this episode.
Yeah. Once they put the transcript in,
Bun's house.
# Pee-wee on the end of this shit.
Yeah. I mean, in the interview, the directors said they're directing a new movie and they hope that they get to make a Talk to Me too, so that
It opens it for a franchise for sure.
yeah,
This
so
could
I-
100% be a
which,
franchise.
yeah,
Great
which I'm
concept.
assuming they have like an idea of like what type of person they want to put in this scenario again for a sequel. I'm sure they've already like theorized it at least.
Mhm.
So it's definitely
Yeah, and I mean, I think
definitely
it would be
want to
interesting.
make another one because sometimes people want to make movies like this and kind of jump away from it, and like
Yeah.
like Halloween, like John Carpenter, like had to get really fucked up to write Halloween 2 because he didn't want to, and
Yeah.
it's nice that these guys are actually enjoy this story enough to want to continue it on.
Yeah.
Right. It's interesting. I would think it would be interesting to see maybe like go through the story of what's going on with Mia in Limbo and see what turns people into like these monstrous forms of themselves, these monstrous spirits that want to kill people. Because at this point, it doesn't
Yeah.
like she seemed kind of normal. Like she seemed kind of like genuinely shocked about like where she was, and
I
so
think that's the peaceful part about being dead is that you're just like kind of quietly confused and just wandering around until you see a light, and then you follow the light, and you just like show up in somebody's basement and they're speaking Spanish,
Yeah.
and
You're
don't
there
really
to
know what's going
scare
on.
Danny Torrance.
Yeah. All of a sudden
You're
you
like,
show up as like a finger that's like talking, and you don't know what's going on.
I was just taking a bath, and you got all weirded out by my skin falling off.
I'm also weirded
So
out by
who's
my
the
skin
problem?
falling off. I don't know what's going on either. It's very Ghost Story. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and like
So-
I said,
make-
and Ian said, it's right up our alley as our very particular personal favorites of what horror movies are. So it's hard to know whether or not this is like a classic, but it kind of feels like a classic. Even seeing it right now, I feel like it's gonna have staying power for most other people.
Go see it.
Go see it.
Yeah, we recommend.
Grab a friend. Grab
Grab your dog.
your
Popcorn.
grab your dog. Don't kiss
Mhm.
him.
don't kiss it unless he says yes.
Yeah, unless it's
Consent. Consent is important.
Yeah. Does everybody have roses to give?
I let you in.
I'm
gonna say that during sexy
All
time.
right.
I let you in.
This is for Lord.
Roses for Lord.
Lord. I'm Lord.
Lord.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm gonna-
that's that George Harrison song. It's called My Sweet Lord.
Oh,
I am Lord.
it all comes full circle, baby.
Comes back around to the Beatles.
I want to hold your hand.
Okay.
Wait, is that a?
Oh my God, that's dude.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Mind fucking blown. We're getting good at this.
Yeah, we're gonna. I could just see like a bullshit like blurb on like one of those stupid sites. Like, did the Beatles predict "Talk to Me"?
If you tweet about it, it becomes true.
Holy
Yeah.
shit. This is like us becoming serial killers. We're going to kill the next John Lennon because of the voices telling us that we time traveled to meet the Beatles and Philip K. Dick and
Oh,
kill a
my
bunch of people.
God, dude. I'll let
After
you in.
seeing Talk to Me, we just we did something bad.
I hope it does. I'm just gonna give a rose to the dry humping floor, the floor. It made me chuckle.
Solid.
Ian,
Anybody have anything that stuck out?
Ian, do you have a rose?
I mean, I would say, my favorite scene was like Riley or whatever getting possessed, but I think like my rose would go to the montage of them doing like,
Yeah.
whatever. Made me want to like party for some reason.
Partying.
So
Do some
It made
salvage.
it appealing, right? They're like,
Oh,
maybe I
sure.
would do that.
I know that's what I'm saying.
Do we need to get a fucking hand, dude?
Yeah.
With your bowl.
TJ Maxx, get one of those palmistry hands and try it. You know?
Oh yeah,
I think we have one downstairs.
I think Katie has one.
All right, break it out, Kate.
I'm gonna say I'd give a rose to him trying to pull his eyeball out because that's like Brian said in his review. It's why I'm romantic about going to see horror movies in the theater on opening weekend with full of people, because it's a shared experience and it's fun to see that with 100 other people that are reacting almost exactly like you are. And I physically kicked the air because I had enough space between me and the next row. The air, and I was like, yeah. And so yeah, I'd give a rose to that.
Okay.
I think Riley in general, that kid did a great job. All those scenes, like it was like solid work, especially like Jake said, seeing it in the theater. Yeah, see, like that audio of him banging his head against you in the first scene and in the hospital at the floor with the licking the blood up. I'm like, oh, this is so like it's such it mirrored that scene, which they did a good job with kind of mirroring scenes, like the scene with the kangaroo and in the ending, and him licking up blood reminded me of the scene with the Christian boy, like Jade's boyfriend, like dry humping the ground and making out with the dog. Like
gross,
they did.
gross.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, these, like it kept cueing you into things, and the way like some of these spirits kind of all kind of are like a hive mind, but also not, like they're individually like perverse in their own way. But it's definitely like when things were foul, they were like on pace foul. Like it was almost like someone trying to be like, ooh, let me like what do they call them on the internet? Edgelord. Like you're like, oh, these demons are just like fucking with these people as much as they can.
God, these demons are so edgy.
Yeah,
you gotta make that a drop. What do you call it? Edgelord.
Edgelord. Yeah, I could clip that for sure. That's a good one.
Yeah,
we'll need
and
it
that
later.
Yeah, that my rose goes to Riley and fucking Radelaide. So
Radelaide.
Yeah, dude.
bless.
City of Evil.
We've been there now. Don't have to ever go again.
All right, so we moving into the game then?
Yes. The game.
All right.
The game, you bitch.
We're gonna play 2 spooks and a die.
Sounds like shit. Let's do it. No, it sounds good. Sounds
2
fun.
truths and a lie, but we gotta change it.
Spooks and a die.
So I'm going to read some spooky facts. They don't all have to be like demon themed, but some of them will be. You guys have to decide each individually which one you're going to lock in as the lie. There's going to be 3 rounds, and whoever makes it the farthest wins.
You get eliminated if you do not detect the lie.
I would say you're just gonna, how we'll do it. You get a point for each one you get right, and then whoever has the most points at the end.
Okay.
You should say the truths in a non-modified voice and the lie in like a
wait. No. Yeah, Jake said I should read this in a modified voice.
If you were gonna do that anyway, I'm sorry for stepping on your joke, but you should do it anyway. We should act like we didn't.
Read the whole thing in a modified voice.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, it'd be fun.
No, but if you're the first one, you would have been like said the 2 truths straight, and then the lie would have been like demon voice. I would have been like
that would have ruined the game.
Or you could have given one of the lies in a normal
That's
voice.
true. That is very true.
You can still do that.
Just pick whatever one you want to do.
Yeah.
You'll give it away.
Okay. So we're ready for round 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fact number 1. Disneyland's famous Pirates of the Caribbean ride used real skeletons. The engineers from Disney took one look at the fake skeletons that were initially brought in and thought that they weren't creepy enough. This might be because prosthetics in the 1960s weren't as convincing as they are now. To offer a more authentic experience, Disney engineers enlisted the help of the University of California, Los Angeles Anatomy Department for real skeletons. All right. We got it.
Okay.
That's fun.
All right. The next one. A man in Argentina claimed to be the son of the devil before going missing. Rosario, Argentina, was home to a man that claimed to be the son of the devil. He was known for standing outside of a local church, screaming obscenities at its members as they entered the building, as well as vandalizing the church itself from time to time. Eventually, the man stopped showing up, and the man was reported missing, but the vandalism still happened on a regular basis, most notably the building's front doors being ripped off their hinges, with the doors being nowhere to be found. And the next one is Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street is based on a real story. Director Craven revealed that the inspiration for the iconic slasher film came from a story he read from the LA Times. A boy was having disturbing nightmares and refused to sleep for days out of fear. The same night he succumbed to exhaustion, he died in his sleep, but not before screaming for help in the middle of the night because of his nightmares.
Oh my god. Say
Who is it?
nightmares again.
Who was this for? Was this
Nightmares.
no,
Oh,
but
okay.
was this for a
Said it normal.
specific person?
It's for all of us, right?
Oh, and we
Yeah.
all just give
You
individual.
all just gonna lock in a lie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right on. Do we have like a batting order?
Oh, you can just jump in whenever you want to lock one in.
Oh, okay.
I think the pirates one is a lie.
I'm going with door number 2. Door number 2 is the lie.
I'm gonna guess door number 2 also.
Really?
Number 1 was mine. That stuck out to
Yeah, I
me.
thought number 1 was a lie. All right, I
But
think
I-
it's Ian and I against Jake and Jake.
Okay. So to clarify, Ian and Emily are locking in that the Pirates of the Caribbean thing is a lie. The two Jakes are locking in that the Argentinian man is a lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Team Jake.
Do you,
feel like
do you
mine's wrong.
lock
Team,
in, Ian?
team
or do
Jacob.
Team Jacob.
You can leave my team if you want.
The lie
okay.
was the Argentinian man.
Okay.
I thought
So-
that was. I swear
Yeah.
I've heard that before, but it probably is just online. A lie.
No, I literally just made it up.
Creepypasta.
His name was
Oh,
wrong.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay,
Ian.
so that's
My brain.
one for each of the Jake and
Oh yeah.
none for the other two. So round number 2.
We're just the other two.
All right. Every day, a person consumes around 1 to 2 cups of snot. More mucus travels into the trachea than it leaks out of the nose, so most of this ends up at the back of your throat. This creepy science fact might gross you out, but it's completely harmless and normal.
That sounded
Okay.
like something that was at like the bottom of a web page. You'd scroll down. You're like, this science fact would gross
Yeah,
you out
exactly.
more than normal.
Chumbox.
Right?
This science fact will make you come.
It's a
I think we
pimple
we
popping.
used-
This science fact is near you and wants to have sex.
All right. The next one. Aztec priests believed that the tears of children could stop droughts. Aztec followers believed in the power of human sacrifice, and many of their rituals included sacrificing women and children to serve their sun god. When they experienced the drought, Aztec priests sacrificed children because they believed their tears could call on the rain. Then our last one. Sharks remember the taste and smell of your blood. If a survivor of a shark attack enters the same waters later on with an open wound, there's a good chance the original shark will smell it and remember. A shark is 4 times more likely to attack a previous victim, and marine biologists have theorized this is because of a predatory ego, a primal need to complete the kill.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
believe that.
I don't believe that either.
What do you think,
I'm
other
locking.
Jake?
I'm locking number 3.
Yeah, that's me too.
Think the problem with this is
I
I
mean,
have
there's
a
probably
problem with
science to
2
that.
because I feel like that's such a statement that I'm like, well, that's like an assertion about like a religion that so few people understand. Like, and
Number 2?
like, yeah, like I feel like
The Aztec priest one.
overall, I'm like, well, you're just like, I've looked into those, like a lot of that stuff, and it's like, well, it just seems like there's a historical context for religion, that I'm like, well, you're like, whenever I read an article that like tries to like fully summarize a religion, I'm always like, oh man, did they really believe that the tears would blah 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 of their kids and women? I'm like, yeah, or maybe that's just a massive misinterpretation of what they were trying to get across.
Yeah.
So I feel like 2 is mine, but I think it's for a bad reason. I think you guys have a good reason.
What was the first story thing?
The first one was the mucus one.
Oh yeah,
slips down your trachea, and
that makes sense.
I have a lot of postnasal drip all the time, so at least for me personally, I always have a bubble.
Okay, so 3 of you are locking in the shark, and Jake's locking in the Aztecs.
I think it's 2, but I also like, just to commentate. You don't need it on the shark one. Is I feel like a lot of that, like, scientists say that it might be this, that, or the other thing. I'm like, that also sounds like total horseshit. That's just as good as speculating about religion, is speculating about some innate thing in, animals. It's like, well,
Jake's
they don't
calling
understand
bullshit
it.
on all 3.
I'm calling.
Leave
Don't
any
trust
of
the experts. Is all I'm saying.
All right, so you're all locked in.
Yeah.
The shark one is the lie.
Nice.
So
well, I have thoughts about that. Clearly, I have thoughts about.
You sounded convincing. I almost put you too. So.
All right, man. I thought that one was gonna get you. I feel like I worded that one really well.
I'm having a breakdown in my reality, so I'm no help.
Jake doesn't know what's real.
All right.
Sharks aren't predatory in that sense.
I wish that someone would remember me like a shark who's bit me, but I really don't think that.
Aww.
Not memorable enough.
Yeah.
All right, so we have host Jake with
Get
2.
better blood.
Any other Goyle?
Be around anymore.
Host Jake with 2. Everybody else at 1.
Yes.
How many rounds we got here?
Yes,
This is our last round.
Oh shit! Oh god.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I've already won.
Yeah, dude.
No, not if we.
I mean, you could
tie
if you get this one wrong, you could be tied.
Well, what are we gonna do?
Nothing.
The tiebreaker.
We're gonna sword fight.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Whoever's got the best dick.
Oh my god, I'm gonna lose.
All right. The Devil's Bible. The Devil's Bible exists, and it's a contract between a monk and Satan. The Devil's Bible is the largest Latin manuscript known to the world. It contains a full-page portrait of Satan. People believe the manuscript contains the contract of a monk who sold his soul to Satan in the 13th century in order to escape execution. In 1936, a haunted house disappeared off the face of the earth. A rurally located house in Charlotte, North Carolina, was thought to be extremely haunted by its previous owners. The small family moved out of state and left the house behind. Years later, a family member returned to the property in hopes to sell it. To their surprise, the house was gone. The grass had grown so tall, it's difficult to locate the foundation of the home, and the city had no records of an authorized demolition or fire. The old house simply vanished. And the last one is ancient Romans believed that drinking blood would let them absorb power. Blood transfusion was a popular practice in ancient Rome. During gladiator games at the Colosseum, members of the audience would rush into the field to ravage the blood off of fallen gladiators. They believed that in drinking the blood of fallen warriors, they too would absorb the warriors' powers and skills.
Or 3.
So the first one had like a fold out of Satan, like a picture of Satan, like
the first one was the Devil's Bible that had like a full
Devil's magazine.
Yeah, the Devil's magazine. Second one was the haunted house that disappeared, and third one was ancient Romans drinking blood and absorbing power.
My gut says 1.
3.
Yeah, mine says 1, but also I feel like 3 is like, I thought it was like tears or sweat. I didn't think it was blood.
I think they're like licking up these dead.
There was
Cry for me, bitch.
There's something similar, I thought, but I didn't think it was
Fucking
blood.
Christian blood.
I'm gonna go with 1.
Locking in the Devil Bible. as to why.
I'd love for the Devil Bible to be real.
Yeah.
I'll be excited if it does.
Yeah, I know.
Exist.
Dude, bullshit manuscripts are like grimoires and some priest to like I'm betting that exists.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Someone
I guess
thinks
you could
they
just like write
have-
whatever you want and then draw
Absolutely.
whatever picture you want. Like,
Especially-
that shit.
Yeah, in Middle Ages, Dark Ages Europe, that's what I was talking about in like Hereditary, like that King Payman, like John Milton Dante shit, like the bonus content of the Bible is all like it's really imaginative and it's fun, but
Yeah.
you can just write anything and say like the church had such a big influence that it was so easy to be like the counter to that thing. It's like hating on pop music. It's like, yeah, there's a market for it.
Yeah. The older I get, the more I just realize you could just like write whatever you want and like get it
Absolutely.
published. Like,
Yeah, I think with one, like all I could picture was like a Thrasher magazine, and it had like a fold out poster.
That's
of, like, Satan.
Just like
yeah.
it's like Satan, like with like holding up the devil horns. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think, Jake?
Yeah, neck face.
So Devil Bible,
Disappearing house.
Ghost House, disappearing. I want that to be true.
I want it to be true. Yeah, that might not be real.
Color Out of Space.
Yeah, I mean,
just
It's a
in
good
Raleigh.
one, Ryan.
I think that could happen just because you let your property go to and like, yeah, we're not going to go out. We're not going to go out to investigate that. You're like, oh, you're just misremembering because you're drunk all the time, like half of.
I mean,
fucking
it
America.
could just
houses
be
just
a
fall apart in
creepypasta that
Detroit
somebody
all the
wrote a
time.
news article about, and then they're just like, it's true now.
Absolutely.
That's
Can we do a creepypasta episode, do you think? I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, the facts I'm getting are from creepypasta. So
Nice.
I'm gonna guess Devil Bible's lie.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
feel
so
like I
he
should go with
doesn't
3
win or
then.
lose, he just stays.
Yeah.
Stays with
That's
me.
it's a good strategy.
I'm going with 3 then, so maybe I'll win
Oh fuck!
Going with the ancient
It'll
Romans.
tie.
or tie, whatever.
All right, I'll stay with my
I'm
husband.
doing 3.
All right, we'll go 3. No, I'm going
Other
with 1.
other Jake, what you got?
Me, Jake?
Yeah.
He already said
3. I said it right
Oh,
up
you're
top,
locking
too.
in 3?
Yeah. Because
Holy shit! I fucked you all.
You're lying if
Is
you
it
know.
2? Are you serious?
It was 2. Yeah. The Mason
Wow.
haunting
They
house.
know what the Romans believed. You're lying.
Listen, I got these from facts.net. Okay, you can't get any more fucking real than that.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
true.
Yeah.
.net.
That's what the facts are.
.net, dude, because they didn't want to pay for .com.
.gov.
I just wanted that to be true.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. I was laying in bed, and that's how I just came up with 3 random bullshit things that I was hoping weren't actually true.
But like,
I like that.
We went back to my mom's house and it was all growing up around. It was pretty much that same story, honestly, in Lawrenceville, Pennsylvania. It's really
And like
cool.
I said, you can just lose track. You're like, I swear it was down this road, and then be like, well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe you just drink and drive all the time.
Forget, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
Alright,
tried to
so-
word it like I was reading a bullshit article online. So you know.
Absolutely.
So
It was
so
fun.
I won.
No, we're
Yeah.
all tied.
No, because I had 2 points.
No, he had
Well,
2.
we
You
had
guys all
2.
ended with 1.
Oh.
Oh, we
Yep.
all had 1. Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
the
we
rest of
won.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
two.
host Jake wins.
Winner, winner.
Hey, nice job,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
You win.
I
We need
snuffed
more.
out the 2 first lies, but not
We
the
need
3rd.
more.
That's fun.
I only prepped 3 lies.
Next time, do more.
All right, I'll do more next time we play.
I
You guys like
want
that game?
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah. Yeah, but it'd be
All right.
better if Jake didn't win with 2 points.
Yeah, try to next
How do you
time try
win
to
with
make
2
rig it so Jake loses.
Like the great
Yeah.
Vin Diesel said about inches and miles,
Oh.
go fuck yourself, yo.
It's all about family.
You ain't no
Wrenches.
family.
Sorry.
Sick.
Sorry, Danish.
All right.
Well, yeah, that's it. Because we're not gonna go to the wheel because this is a shoehorned in episode
Oh, yeah.
beep, beep,
Squeeze
beep.
this one in for the traffic.
Breaking news.
for the boys.
Yep.
For the boys.
So Chillaramas next week. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's a fun episode, honestly.
And it was a
Oh,
fun
yeah.
episode. You guys will love it.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
Hopefully Ryan doesn't delete it.
I did it one time.
Click right click save on it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Because I know how computers work.
I just need to get another hard drive so I don't have to delete so much shit.
Yeah.
We'll buy you a hard drive.
Well, if Nathan signed up for a Patreon. We could get.
Yeah,
like,
we've made $10 so far, so I'll just use that towards it, I guess.
Yeah.
We're calling out people now to be like, you better sign up this next week, or we're struggling. We need help.
We're just talking about Nathan because he's the star of this episode.
Our up and coming patron, Nathan.
Yeah, I can't wait to announce Nathan as a new Patreon subscriber next week.
Absolutely, we can't wait to put your pick on the wheel.
No pressure, buddy.
I talked to him on social media, and I was like, "Have you seen or heard about Talk to Me?" And he's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "I'm surprised because he's in Adelaide, and it was shot in Adelaide, and apparently it's not even. I mean, or maybe he just.
It was
doesn't pay
last
attention
year
to
though.
the
It
news
came
or
out in
social
Adelaide.
media. I know, but it was filmed there. I mean,
absolutely.
When A Quiet Place 2 came out, like Post Journal was like, remember this movie, part of this movie was filmed in Chautauqua County.
Whoa.
Like, just remember.
Yeah.
And
We're so
I'm surprised they didn't ask
that
Nathan
they're-
to be in it.
Yeah, he probably was.
I mean,
Honestly,
he probably was in that party scene
Okay.
in the beginning. He
Yeah.
was one of the people that pulled his phone up.
Oh, for sure. What a dick. Don't subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah, bloody
Don't even bother.
I'm just kidding. I love you, Nathan. How you been? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Reach out, buddy.
Yeah.
Everybody's dying, bitch.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week then. Thank you for listening.
Adios.
Bye. Goodbye.
Good night.